Hello, I'm Gina with the Penobscot Marine Museum in Searsport, Maine, and today we're going to be putting together a 3D paper building. And the one I'm going to do in this video is the Searsport Methodist Church, and this is the easy version of it. So the materials that you'll need for this project include the handout, and I printed this out in cardstock. It does work on paper, but it might work a little bit better if you do it on cardstock. You'll want something to color with. A glue stick. Mine's a little bit fancy, but a regular glue stick should work for this project. Some scissors, and a knife might be helpful if you have a parent or an adult around that can help you with it, but you should be able to do this project using just scissors. And then you might want some glitter or glitter glue to help decorate your building in the end. So we're going to start with your template, which is here. And so the first thing you're going to do is color it. Make sure you do color the windows and color the whole building. You don't necessarily have to stay in the lines because you're going to cut it out, so that's kind of helpful. Construction on the Methodist Church began in 1840. The congregation began meeting 25 years before the church itself was built. The original church was a single story. The second story was added in 1864 along with Italianate elements. But the original church had Greek Revival architecture, and the Greek Revival architecture, which was popular from the 1820s through the 1860s, and was known by its gable roof, a pediment, or in this case the eave returns that suggest a pediment, and the rectangular shape of the building. Once you have your building colored, you can cut it out. And again, this should be able to be accomplished by scissors, but it might be a little bit easier with the knife if you have an adult around to help you. And so once you have it cut out, then this is what you should have in front of you. And in my case, I did cut out the windows and put yellow paper on the back of them, but you can just color the windows and that will be fine. So now we're going to put this together. So step one is to go ahead and fold along all of the gray lines. So we want to fold there. We want to fold this little bit here at the end. And right along the gray line is where we're going to try to make this fold. And if you're using the cardstock, then it is a little bit more difficult, but it also will end up being a little bit of a more steady, solid building. Okay. And you fold down these top flaps, the ones that I'll say fold and glue. Make sure those are folded down. And fold over here. And the roof has two folds, so the fold in the middle and then the fold against the wall, and then all four of the flaps need to be folded in, and all of these folds are being folded in toward the blank part of your paper. And in the back you can see how I added these yellow papers for the windows. Okay, now this part we have to do in a specific order. We're going to first glue down these two flaps to the front of the church, and then this third one is going to go up against the roof, and then we're going to finish by gluing 1, 2, 3, or they're numbered 4, 5, 6 are going to be glued to the back of the church building. Okay, so let's find number 1. It's right here, and take your glue stick and go ahead and glue both. Make sure they're nicely folded down, and glue both number 1 and number 2. Get all over there on that flap. Make sure it's covered with glue. And then it's a tiny bit tricky because you want to kind of line it up with the front of the building, which you can see here, and hold that in place. And do the same thing with the other side. Make sure that it's lined up with the front of the building and hold it in place. I'm going to put it down flat and hold it there. for just a moment to let it dry a little bit. Okay, and now this is number 3, and this we're going to attach to the underside of the roof. So again, you're going to glue the entire flap and then attach it on the inside of the roof and try to make sure that it's kind of lining up on the other side. And hold it there for a second to make sure that it's gonna stay. Okay, and now we're on to the back. And so this time I'm gonna glue all 3 of them, but we're gonna kind of put them into place one at a time. So number 4, cover that in glue. Number 5, and number 6. Okay, so now make sure that's lining up. Number 4 is lining up with the back of the building. Hold that in place for a moment, and then make sure number 5 is also, kind of have to do it quickly because you don't want that glue to dry. And then number 6 also needs to be locked into place. So again, this is the Searsport Methodist Church, and it's a 3D version of the church. This building was built in the Greek Revival style originally. It was constructed in began construction in 1840. And then in 1864, some Italianate elements were added to it. So that's some architectural style that was a little bit different in 1864. So it doesn't look quite the way it originally did. This is a rendering of what it looks like now. So if you're driving through Searsport on Route 1, see if you can check out this building. And so this is your completed building.